Hey Trekkies, it's summer, and you know what that means. It's time for Creation Entertainment's Trek to Las Vegas 2025. This year, the convention has been expanded to a 5-day schedule, August 6th through the 10th at the Rio Las Vegas Hotel. Meet all your favorite Star Trek pros in one place, and hey, maybe you swing by Vic's Lounge and you see our panel. It's a great way to meet people in person and have some fun with your fellow Trekkies. If you can't make it to Star Trek Las Vegas, of course, there's also other events around the country this year. Trek to Orlando, August 23rd through 24th. There's the Trek to New Jersey, September 6th and 7th. And finally, the Trek to Chicago, November 22nd and 23rd. We're looking forward to meeting as many of you as we can this year. So make sure that you get ready to trek to Las Vegas.
Is this thing on? Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to Open Pike Night, the podcast discussing strange new worlds and reaching out all over the world to hear from voices in the dark. If you're hearing this, then you too are welcome on stage at Open Pike Night. Our lineup is full for tonight, but as every episode of Strange New Worlds is released, you'll have the chance to step into the spotlight. We're recording this episode on First Contact Day, and what a First Contact Day it's been. I'm John T. Bolds, your MC and host for tonight, but I'm not alone on this away team. Joining me are my co-hosts, Cameron from the Green Shirt Podcast, who on this very first Contact Day received his 1701st follower on Twitter.
Felt like a virgin first contacted for the very first time.
And he's been called the most narcissistic man in podcasting, while also being criticized for paying attention to and or shouting out other people too much. Jesse from the Sudden But Inevitable podcast.
I, much like the Borg Queen, am a bit of a contradiction, as you will come to learn here at Open Pike Night.
I just want to say, I just received a note, everyone, that there's a pair of rocket boots in the parking lot with their lights on. If you own a white pair of rocket boots with the bumper sticker, Vulcans Don't Climb, please go turn your lights off. Thank you.
Also in the Lost and Found, there is a safety helmet with the light also turned on. Possibly related, possibly not. We're not sure. And tonight, we're discussing the character teasers and the first full-length trailer for Strange New Worlds.
Woo!
We've got a great crowd of pod listeners tonight. We're sorry we had to move the event from Holodeck 4 to Cargo Bay 2, but there was apparently a malfunction measuring 7 on the Barclay scale. And as anyone with a nose knows, we're better off sitting on these barrels. And now, let's talk Strange New Worlds. It's been a little while since we've hosted an Open Pike Night, and a lot has happened. So we're going all the way back to our first contributor to the podcast and to this episode, Rat, bringing some heat about the Captain Kirk revelation.
Hello again, Rafe, aka Rat here. Personally, I'm hopeful that Kirk will be featured only in a single episode or maybe a two-parter as the commander of another ship. I know he served on the Farragut, and outside of canon, to my knowledge, there were other ships that he commanded before the Enterprise. While Captain Pike is quickly becoming my favorite Starfleet captain, I'm not entirely opposed to Season 2 of Strange New Worlds, seeing Pike's promotion to fleet captain and the passing of the torch to maybe a newly promoted Captain Kirk, with Season 3 perhaps covering some of the Enterprise's adventures before the 5-year journey that we're all familiar with. Who knows, though? I'm excited to see what they have in store for us either way. Thanks for having me on. Live long and prosper, my friends.
Rafe, thank you for coming back to the stage for the second round of Open Pike Night. He is at Rafe Langston on Twitter. Jesse, any continuing thoughts about Kirk?
So, yes. I feel like there is this... Actually, it's not just a feeling, it's a truth. There was recently an interview with Chris Pine where he was asked, should Star Trek be reaching for Avengers-style money, the $1 billion mark, that kind of a thing, those franchise revenue goals? And he said, no, I think it should, be what it is. I think it should stay for the fans and very grassroots, and things like that. And I agree with that 100%. Now, all of that having been said, I think that we all could agree that it's probable that Star Trek is the most profitable property that Paramount has access to currently, right? So I would not be surprised to see them test the reactions to Kirk's character and then maybe just spin off another show and, have Uhura leave Strange New Worlds to go be on Kirk's show, or, have some portion of Pike's crew leave to go be with Kirk for a little while. I mean, we have now seen that the creators are willing to put captains from other ships into our series, see how they do, and then, if it's very positive, spin a series off for that captain. So I have to assume that that's a possibility going forward for any captain that we know. What do you guys think?
I kind of mentioned it last Open Pike night, but I do, I'm worried we're entering Spider-Man territory with, I love the 2009 cast as our young Enterprise crew, and I'm, one of my fears for Strange New Worlds is that they're just, as a television cable of actors, they're just not going to live up to those heights. I'm certainly open to seeing, and I agree that I think Kirk will be best served as a one-off.
All right, let's hear from our next returning guest to the Open Pike Night stage.
Hi, this is Peter, and here are my initial reactions to the Kirk announcement. I admit I was surprised to hear the news that we will see James T. Kirk in Strange New World Season 2, because I thought Kirk would join the show during its final season. While I look forward to a younger interpretation of the iconic captain, I hope Captain Kirk will only be in a supporting role rather than be one of the show's stars. I would like him to have a role similar to Number One's in Discovery Season 2, appearing in only a small handful of episodes. I suspect we will meet Kirk while he is in command of a starship that is smaller than Enterprise, and he works with Captain Pike and the Enterprise crew on a joint mission. I see Strange New Worlds as being focused on Captain Pike, Number One, Spock, and the rest of the Enterprise crew. After a long and successful run, I would like the series finale of Strange New Worlds to conclude with the Enterprise captaincy being transferred from Pike to Kirk, completing the progression from Strange New Worlds to TOS. Thanks again for making this podcast, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts about the announcement of Captain Kirk appearing on Strange New World Season 2. Thanks.
And that was our friend Peter coming back for another round on the stage at PeterTrek1 on Twitter. I certainly had the same thoughts as Peter early on when Strange New Worlds was announced. Obviously, there's going to be a passing of the torch to end the series that we're still waiting another month to begin, but which is a strange thing to talk about. But honestly, with what's been going on with Picard lately and how much we know about Season 3, while Season 2 is only halfway done airing, Paramount is certainly not afraid to put a lot of information out there.
Just to beat the dead horse, sorry, Captain Pike, for that metaphor, but I really like the Kelvin Timeline cast, and I with the announcement of Installment 4 on that, I'm perfectly happy with the Kelvin Timeline crew and that cast being our continuing voyages, our remake of the original series.
I don't disagree with that at all. I think that, to our friend Peter's point, the ostensible end of this series, right, would be Pike going, okay, I'm going to accept my fate, I'm going to get promoted, I'm going to leave the Enterprise, which means somebody else needs to command it, but we don't know that. I mean, that sort of is making a lot of assumptions for a sci-fi show, right? Isn't it possible that this show is setting us up to give Pike a new fate, or maybe just put him on an entirely different path? Is there any chance that time crystal only shows you the end of your path in your current universe? With the number of Star Trek characters that we have explicitly talking about knowledge of other universes and going to other universes, and past instances of other people going to and from other universes, sometimes with the inclusion of time travel, I think there is nothing that is too strange or new for this crew. And I think there's a chance that there's a universe where Pike and Kirk exist alongside one another at the same time, even if that's not the same universe, quote unquote.
I wouldn't be surprised if Kirk was actually Kirk from the future sent back to tell Pike that there's no fate but what we make, and that he is the only hope for the future against the machines. It's a Borg reference. Couldn't be a reference to anything else.
I don't think those things are impossible. I mean, not in so many words, right? But
Jesse, those things are not impossible and are very likely, in fact. My worry, because Star Trek is obviously kind of heading in that direction. I mean, I just said I want the Kelvin universe in a completely different timeline to be the continuing adventures. We're seeing the same thing with Marvel now going into Phase 4. The worry is once you start introducing all these separate timelines and separate fates and separate arcs and separate characters, it starts to water down your brand, and that's going to be tricky water to tread.
It's interesting that you would say that, Cameron, because I think that they are going to do some kind of multi-property crossover. I'm not saying that I think that they should do that. I'm saying my instinct is telling me that they're going to do that. I
Jesse,
think a lot of people are going to do what Marvel did, and then is it going to work as well as it worked for Marvel? Maybe not.
It's not going to work for.
It's not. But at the
anybody
same
as
time,
well as-
Jesse, what I keep saying, they are doing that. We are in the middle of them. They've been doing that since Unification 1 and 2 in 1992. Oh, God, I hope I got that year right.
But
and now it's only even more so. I mean, how are they not doing that right now?
So that's what I'm asking. Like, do you think there is a future where, okay, so now the Kelvin crew meets the Strange New Worlds crew? I'm not saying I'm hoping for this or like rah rah. I'm asking if you think that's what's going to happen. Do you think they're going to merge like the movie universes and the show universes and
God,
then
I hope not.
go from there? Like, what do you think?
Maybe.
They might, but again, like I said last episode, like no, I no multiverse, no none of let's keep series as series. You can have a couple visits to Deep Space Nine by the TNG crew, but after that, they need to take off in their damn ship and go back to their own adventures.
I would be interested if you're listening to this episode and you feel the opposite of how Cameron and John feel, and you're like, okay, give me the Star Trek crossover multiverse extravaganza. I want you to email us at openpike@gmail.com or send us a voice clip, 90 seconds or less, and let us know how you feel. I'm just interested because I feel like there's a chance that that's what Paramount is going to do, not because I think it's the right thing.
There's a lot to talk about tonight. So
Yeah.
our next guest sent in a little written message to us. This is from Deb. Una is the most fascinating character. She's obviously extremely competent, intelligent, and professional. Yet she seems cold or distant and socially awkward, which is in large contrast with Pike. Can't wait to see her grow over the next few seasons. That is again from our friend Deb at OnceUponLA on Twitter. Cam, what do you think?
Number one, Una is definitely an interesting character. Real quick, I want to ask, so are we supposing then, since her name is Una, Latin for one, that she is the creation of the habit or custom or tradition of captains calling their XOs number one? Is that what they are implying here?
Was that
I
not
think
the
I just
first?
always kind of assumed that, yeah.
And that had
Okay.
to be the first instance of it in Star Trek, right? Because I believe Pike says that in the cage.
Yes, that's where it all came from.
So, I mean, it would
then-
have to be, right? It would have to be them giving a reason to that, I would think.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the most I know about that version, Una, of number one, is I did finally start watching some of the short treks, and the episode with her and Spock trapped in the elevator. Can't say I was a huge fan of that. I did appreciate the callback to Disaster, especially since they were trapped in an elevator with the Pirates of Penzance musical number that she sings, but it was just so awkward and shoehorned in and not like how people act in real life at all. And this is the interesting thing, and we're going to get more into this topic coming up. The how hot and sexy this series is going to be, especially around Spock. But with number one also, because in that titular Trek short, the short implies that number one has the hots for Captain Pike and the growing hots for Spock. So I mean, I hope they kind of pump the brakes a little bit on that and don't make her too hypersexualized. Though maybe she's just the gender flip version of Riker, and I guess I'd be okay with that.
Gives new meaning to the term beard, doesn't it? So I think that we can see from her character trailer in particular that Una she's having the, oh no, I'm one step above the rest of the team. And they don't see me as a team player anymore. They see me as their boss with like a capital B, and that's just not fun, right? Like, she seems like a total 90s boss where she's like, oh, I used to be friends with them, but now I don't know how to relate to them because I have to get them to do their job, and they don't think I'm cool. They think I'm cold and distant. And I think that they're to the point of her just breaking out in a musical number. She was really trying to get across like, hey, look, I can be fun and whimsical. And I mean, if you have to illustrate that to a Vulcan, you may have to go to extremes. It feels like the arc for her, and I think like in general for this show, what we are seeing from these character trailers, let's just say, first of all, these are amazing. And I'm so happy that we got like 9 trailers over the course of 3 days after having no promotional material for so long.
We were not expecting that.
No, we weren't.
Especially as a Strange New Worlds focused podcast, we were like, oh, we have some work to do. But what we can take away from those trailers is definitely that the serialization that people are going to be craving, because that's what TV has, made people want now, is going to come in the form of the character arcs, which is how it was in The Next Generation, right? So I think Una's character arc is going to be, how do I get through one night? Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Is going to be, how do I relate to my subordinates while also being an effective, basically supervisor, right? Like, so I'm really interested for that. There also is some weird stuff going on with her makeup where it's like, is she a Vulcan right now? Or is she maybe pretending to be a Vulcan for a minute? Also, why is the Enterprise covered in vines and there's fencing and archery? Like, I'm so happy right now.
Una Everdeen? I know. I'm excited for whatever episode that's going to be.
Oh, you guys, what is going on in that episode? I have to know.
All of that was one holodeck episode. So, sorry.
One of the things that I'm seeing on Twitter at OpenPike, if you haven't followed us, please go do so. I have been noticing that a lot of people are saying, hey, what if that is a crossover with Billip's folks from Lower Decks, right? They had the Renaissance Fair Planet. So what if that was some sort of visit there and maybe their holodeck emitters went crazy or something? But I mean, there's plants in the hallway, you guys. There's plants in the hallway.
There's a lot going on.
Thank you, Deb. I'm sorry if we got away from your question. It's going to happen.
We'll take a little intermission from our guest on stage here. We had 9 character trailers. So, Cam.
Yo.
Least favorite, most favorite.
Least favorite, most favorites. Good. Okay, I'm going to go out with the hot takes here, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not a huge fan of the Spock. A lot of that is, brought over from Disco 2, so I'm coming in with an open mind, but like Spock is one of the most iconic TV characters of history, not of sci-fi TV, of all TV history. And just to try to redo him is such a ballsy move, and they did it. They did it with the Kelvin timeline. I love Zachary Quinto's Spock. And I don't know if the lightning is going to strike a third time with this. And part of it is, they introduce him in a very un-Spock-like manner in Disco 2 and all that. But he's not the Spock we know from the original series. He is a long way from there. So if his arc is to go from the young, impulsive, emotional Spock to what we see in TOS, that's a long distance for him to travel. Now, what I am interested about him, he kind of mentions in his teaser, is that I've never thought about this part of Spock, and that on Vulcan growing up, he was pushed by everyone to be very Vulcan, to ignore his human side. And then he joined Starfleet, and although he says they let him be what he is, that's fucking bullshit. We all know, everyone from Kirk to McCoy to everyone says, ignore your Vulcan side, ignore your green-blooded side, be more human. And that's how we see the progress of Spock from TOS to, the end of Undiscovered Country. And then apparently after Kirk died, he just went straight back Vulcan, as we see in Unification. So that's his progress. I don't know. I'm coming in with an open mind. We'll see. That's my least favorite. You can come back to me for most favorite.
Okay. Jesse, you got 9 characters.
I'm going to say the Hemmer trailer kind of came out of nowhere for me. Like, I believe I spoke about my lack of familiarity with the Enterprise series, which I am in the process of remedying very slowly because, I could still just watch TOS. But I was very surprised by that character because I didn't know anything other than the fact that the actor was blind and that the character was blind, and that was very progressive and a huge win for representation, which the current era of Star Trek, we got to say, is just knocking out of the park, I think. So to see this character that I had no preconceptions about come in and be like, okay, I'm the main engineer. I'm like, oh, wow, huge Geordi vibes immediately. And then he's like, I'm a genius. I was like, oh, wow, huge me vibes immediately. And then he was like, they were like, his other senses are actually better than our regular versions of those senses, right? And he's got this just strong confidence that he's actually earned, I think. And he seems to really just have this calm coolness about him, which as a space cowboy fan, I'm always down for calm and cool and collected in a space situation, personally.
Yeah, I think my favorite then would have to be either Nurse Chapel or Dr. Mbenga. I've always just loved the doctors on the Star Trek shows so far, and Nurse Chapel especially. I mean, one, she just looks stunning in her white outfit. I don't know, white looks great on the Enterprise, and two, she just seems like a super fun character.
Wait, Jesse, was Hemmer your favorite or your least favorite?
Sorry, I think
he's combining both in one.
So I think that makes Hemmer my favorite character trailer of these ones.
Yeah, and this is not character ranking. This is trailer ranking.
So my least favorite? Wait a minute. We should make John go. John, what's your least favorite?
My least favorite was the Captain Christopher Pike trailer. I was like, yeah, we could all see that coming a mile away.
We now know that it takes place post Disco 2.
Yeah, it takes place
that wasn't
post
confirmed
Disco 2,
before.
so
It
that
now
question
is.
has been answered. But it's like, oh, that's all he talks about in his trailer. We get a lot of backstory. We get a lot of story for all these characters in their trailers. We get, and I'm surprised Jesse didn't say it, there's another podcast called Green Shirt and Newbie Trek to the Next Generation, and they talk about the Nerd Squad a lot. Hemmer is a combination of the Nerd Squad. Hemmer is Data, Wesley, and Geordi all wrapped up into one, between the attitude, the skills, the engineering, just the capabilities and everything. So I really enjoyed that. I think I really liked La'an. Just like, oh, okay. I hadn't done a lot of research. Everybody is wondering who this Noonien Soong is. But it's like, well, I was satisfied with that trailer and definitely most curious to learn more about her.
Well, she would be a Noonien Singh, would she not?
Sing.
Okay.
Yes.
So I was hired to be the Star Trek pedant. So one thing that I did notice in the Una trailer, it seems that she and La'an maybe have a connection, both because they feel like they're outsiders, right? Mm-hmm. The rest of the crew seems to have this very like, hey, we're just hanging out, man. We're just in space. There's a big TV. The chairs are comfy. There's no seatbelts. It's fine. It's like the 60s, but it's space. And it really feels that way for everybody except Una and La'an. And you could probably argue Cadet Uhura at the start. I think that scene where they're all having dinner and she's in like her formal uniform, I think everybody else is just in regular clothes. Mm-hmm. Like they didn't tell her, like, hey, why don't you come shoot golf with us at whatever time the sprinklers come on. I'm sorry, I'm not good enough to make that reference, but I think she shows up thinking, oh, this is going to be a button down thing, and they're like, dude, we're just having dinner, relax. So there's definitely going to be some serious vibe checks going on, which is insane because there are so many vibes in every direction off of these trailers, you guys. We still haven't even got to the main trailer, but
yeah.
I would say my personal least favorite might be, I might have to agree with you, John, because as a person who's like making a Star Trek podcast now, I have to like be deep into, okay, what's all the stuff going on around Star Trek? So it's like, I kind of knew most of what, like you said, what was going on in the Pike trailer, but from an outside perspective, I do appreciate, as the guy who needed all the details, I do appreciate that they were like, okay, here's where it takes place, relax.
Right.
Here's what his arc will be, relax. He's still got the thing going on. We didn't forget about it, relax. So it's like some of them felt like, here's a character, and then some of them felt like, here you go, Trekkies, which is great. Yeah. It's a great combination of things, and the marketing, like, it went from zero to warp like that. It was
the main trailer did feel more like a Pike centric trailer than his character trailer.
Yes. Yeah.
As far as like illuminating new stuff about his character.
Yeah. For anybody listening, if you have not seen the character trailers, they, as far as I can tell, they're only available on Twitter.
So some of them are on YouTube, but I haven't been able to find like a list, which is what I was trying to find.
Right. If you go to StarTrek.com, I know, quaint. It was literally the last place I looked.
I'm sorry, that's HTTP:/.
Yes, this is a website on the internet, and it just. When was the last time either of you went to StarTrek.com? Like, not to, talk trash or anything, but like, I just get it from somewhere else.
That's my homepage.
Yeah.
Such a liar.
That was a Ninth Hole at 9 reference by Jesse earlier from the classic Happy Gilmore. All right, let's head back to the stage.
Hey, this is Jesse from Alaska, and I want to talk about the character teasers and like the Twitter photo that we all saw. Our photo, we saw Paul Wesley as Captain Kirk, and we know that he's Captain Kirk because he had the captain stripes on his uniform. And he wasn't captain until 2265, so maybe there's some time travel that might happen or something. Not sure, but I'm excited for it. There's a tri-ship wing in the Ortega teaser. I don't know if that's Cardassians. I don't know what that is. But there's also like a matrix field in space, and that's interesting. Leanne, of course, Leanne, her last name is Singh. We all know that there's like some kind of connection with Khan. So is she an altered person? We don't know. Maybe the traumatic childhood thing was like the eugenics war that Khan also mentions. I'm loving Uhura. I think I just like her character. Hemmer, he's one of those blind Anar guys. He's like a white Andorian, essentially. We saw that thing with Captain Archer's crew. So I'm kind of glad that they have brought this guy in because I'm a big fan of the Andorians. Mbenga, I like him. I like how it shows him like doing medical research. I like that. Like he doesn't have all the answers. It's great. Nurse Chapel, it looks like she's hooking up with Spock maybe a little bit or something. And Spock, I kind of get like some Leanne vibes. I kind of get some Nurse Chapel vibes. And then, is that T'Pring that he was kissing in his trailer? I have no idea. Una, like, there was a weird neck glowing thing. I don't know what that is, but she seems really badass. And I love that Captain Pike is like the cowboy captain, the adventurous cowboy captain.
All right, that was Jesse in Alaska. Blast from Cam and my past, old friend of ours. But Jesse, you were reacting quite a bit to Jesse's comments. What do you have to say?
We need to take that video and put it on the Twitter.
Yes.
I didn't know that you guys had let's not do that. I didn't know that you guys had another friend named Jesse. Now I feel awful and I don't want to do the rest of the show. And she's into Star Trek. Are you kidding me?
I'm very into Star Trek. Very detailed.
No kidding.
Much nerdier than me on that.
Wow. Okay, so the La'an thing. I think if you watch that trailer really closely, I think when she says something like, I'm a survivor, there's a flashback for a moment. And at the very bottom of that frame, I swear you see like a bunch of dead like hands and smears of blood all over the place. It's like blink and you'll miss it, and it's at the bottom of the frame. But I think Jesse nailed it. I think that she was part of some massacre that took place. I believe we've been told that she is a descendant of Khan. So in my head, I was like, couldn't she just be like a relative? Like, doesn't she not have to be like his daughter or something? But it's possible that she's some sort of clone. Like there seems to be some serious darkness in La'an's past that I'm really, really excited for. Now, to that point of Spock being a bit of a, what should we call him? A rabble-rouser? A bit of a Lothario aboard the Enterprise? Yeah, are all these dates taking place on the Enterprise? Like,
is that one episode?
How great would it be if it was a sitcom episode where he's got 3 dates and he triple booked? Come on. A Vulcan might be able to pull that off.
I'm down.
100% on board with that. That would be fantastic.
Let's write it if that's not what it is.
I'm totally okay with them making Spock a slut. It's just they better make him a bi slut.
So that's a huge thing, right? Like there are people that are pretty upset because Spock is a bi-con. Is that how you would say that on the internet? The Spirk /fic is like the origin of /fic, right? So there's I've seen people on both sides going like, let Spock be straight, and other people going, oh, why are they making him straight? And it's like I don't necessarily know that we can assume from a couple of trailers what the entire arc of Spock's sexuality is going to be. So I'm of the school that says let's watch at least most of the episodes before we decide how we feel about that personally. But I'm so excited. I think that was a Tholian web. I have not got there yet the original series, but I believe that was a Tholian web.
I believe go that was a Tholian web. I mean,
we saw
it was
some
at
Tholians.
least intentionally hearkening to the Tholian web.
Well, and was that not a Tholian in the hallway of Pike's trailer? Kind of like
yes, I
coming
believe
down
that
a hallway.
was. I mean, because the Tholians also show up in Enterprise. I'm pretty sure that was a Tholian. Tholians are a good enemy.
Yes, and now the other thing, Mbenga. Like, I love that he specifically is saying, I'm a man of science. I am going to, like, figure other things out. Like, just do as I say. I don't know that I can invoke these because I haven't seen a lot of it, but I got a little bit of a Phlox vibe with him being like, oh, I smeared up crushed up some urchins or whatever, right? And put them on your skin.
I'd say that's a fair statement.
Kind of, like frontier medicine, right? Like, we're just going to try whatever we have that we think will fix the symptoms. We don't know if it will actually solve the problem.
I just want to say, like, not about any specific character trailer, but I just thought it was really fun having these character trailers. It really puts the emphasis on the crew. It felt very retro in the best way possible to kind of have all these separate featurettes, kind of. It was super fun.
All right, let's hear from our next guest on stage.
This seriously is the Star Trek I've been waiting for. I am extremely partial to the OG. That first pilot episode is incredible. It takes you into that initial strange new world. And so to watch them build on and develop these characters that you got to know for just a brief few minutes is going to be really exciting. And it looks like they did a beautiful job with everything. I think the characters are amazing. They did a great job with casting. So I'm looking forward to this. I think it looks great.
All right. That was Lindsay. She thanks OPN for sharing the joy. And Lindsay, I'll say you are on the OPN stage. Welcome to the Found family.
Yay.
I don't think we've heard a single clip from any of our guests saying, I'm really not too interested in watching Strange New Worlds, which I suppose makes sense for contributing to a podcast. But there's plenty of excitement out there. What do you think, Cam?
Yeah, I mean, the excitement is palpable. I mean, having 1701 followers on Twitter now, I'm pretty well deep into Trek Twitter. So I guess I would see this side of it. But yeah, I mean, all week long as these character trailers were dropping, as we were building the First Contact Day, as we were building to the main Strange New World trailer that we knew was coming, just people were eating this up. They were so excited. They were freeze framing random clips and coming up with theories on these characters. It is so much fun. I mean, it's almost going to be disappointing when the show starts and we start getting answers, because just watching the community kind of like eat this stuff up and regurgitate it into this beautiful vomit is beautiful.
Now, to Lindsay's point, though, you guys, the casting, right? The casting, I am going to sit here and argue the casting with you all day, Cameron. Like,
sure.
I don't think that they've missed on the casting yet, personally. There's no character where I'm like, oh, I definitely would have not brought that actor back from TNG, or, oh, I definitely would have looked for somebody else for this part. Like, now, I watch things in a much more forgiving way than the two of you do, obviously. That having been said, I feel like a casting director for Star Trek, it seems like it would be the easiest job ever, right? Like, just pick somebody as long as they look good and everything will be fine. The fans will love them. But it's almost like you have to cast for like physical features that people believe equate to the personality traits that they want those characters to have. It's crazy. Like, you have to have Pike, with a strong jawline, and like he's got to have the salt and pepper hair because you want this to be an experienced officer. And it's like, that's a pretty specific thing to look for in a, for a casting director. But I would say they haven't missed yet for me personally. So I'm willing to watch most of the episodes before I'm like, here's how I feel about it. But you're right. The attention, the excitement and the fun and just like the fervor and like just the atmosphere on Trek Twitter right now is crazy. Like, I've never been part of that until very recently. We just passed 117 followers at Open Pike. So I'm working on the 1701, but it has been crazy fun. It has been like nothing I've experienced in Trek fandom before.
The one character trailer that had me a little worried, not necessarily about casting, but maybe about character, was Nurse Chapel. I'm like, oh, this feels a little Manic Pixie Dream Girl-ish at first, but then at the same time, I'm pretty sure she's just getting all stabby on somebody later on. It's like, okay, that like, as long as she's got a badass side, it was the one not casting, I would just say more the character, the way they portrayed her in the trailer, that I was a little concerned about, but that's like a passing thought more than anything.
Well, and I won't push you on it, but I would say that Strange New Worlds looks to be maybe the Manic Pixie Dream Girl of Star Trek series.
No, yes, it does. It's definitely the most Manic Pixie Dream Girl captain, for sure.
It's like it's on acid, and it's got the 60s vibes cranked through the roof. It's retro, it's futuristic, it's clean, it's sleek, it's
everything.
It's everything.
Yeah. And still and definitely a product of the times it's trying to emulate, and this time too. Like, okay, everybody's very quippy as well. And so we'll just have to see how that goes.
It's very space western. The Captain Pike poster has the ship flying behind him, leaving a contrail, very Cowboy Bebop style. I'm just going to throw that out there. Go ahead.
All right, here's our next guest.
Hey there, it's friend of the show Harper. And I have just watched the most recent Strange New Worlds trailer, and I am very excited. I think that the thing that excites me most is that, unlike Discovery or Picard, these trailers are hyping the characters' stories more than a overarching season-long story. What excites me about that is that I haven't seen, at least not to my memory, any prestige TV that wasn't about a giant arc, but instead was about the development of the characters. Even in Discovery, which of course I very much like, I mean, maybe not of course, but I do very much like Discovery, there are characters on the show that you see every episode who have effectively no backstory. I am really excited to learn about number one's backstory, and I'm really excited to learn about this version of Spock's backstory, and I'm also really excited to learn about the pilot's backstory. That surprises no one that knows that I'm a pilot. I haven't memorized their name yet, but boy howdy, does that seem like fun. There's a shot in this most recent trailer with the Enterprise arcing through space, dodging photon torpedoes that seem to be launched from some sort of big space station with some red bits, which makes me think they're probably an evil space station. Gosh, I'm just so excited about that. But I think the most important thing here is my excitement about the character driven rather than like giant plot driven. That is just really fascinating for me.
That was from our friend Harper, who has been a guest on Green Shirt, a Newbie's Trek Through the Next Generation. Let's talk about this trailer, guys. Let's talk. And I will just say, yes, the shot of Enterprise swirling around all those torpedoes. Holy crap.
Okay. To go back just real quick to Jesse's point before about how it's taking things from the 60s and the things from now, like that's the shot when I was like, oh, Strange New Worlds is basically plucking from like every version of Star Trek we've seen, all the best bits, because that's 100% the barrel roll from 2009 Trek.
Oh yeah.
But we're bringing in the 60s aesthetic. We're bringing in everything. We're bringing in the TNG character arcs. Like this is they're just like, it's like the showrunners just stepped back and said, what's the best part of every show? Let's put it in our show.
100%. The music in this trailer is what year is it? Like, are machines making this music? No, they're definitely humans. Like, it's synth. It's got heart, but it's got synth in it. It's crazy. Like, and it's got this driving, like, revving going on, so that when Ortegas is just dancing through space toward this enemy ship at the helm of the Enterprise, you guys, I'm like tearing up, and we haven't even seen the show yet. but like the music there is like making you feel like you're accelerating and going faster with the crew. And I did notice we got a hint that we're going to be getting the second skin style energy shields on our Enterprise this go around. So that must be consensus by the rule of cool, the best shields, right? I like the bubble shields, but I think there is something to be said visually for the second skin shields. I think rule of cool dictates that those might be cooler personally. But it's just, yes, the Ortegas thing. Okay, Star Trek has some great pilots. We've got Tom Paris. We've got Kayla Detmer. We've got Riker. We've got Picard. Like, we've seen people do very impressive feats of piloting before, right? And now you've got the prettiest captain ever challenging somebody who has claimed, I am the best pilot ever to come out of the Academy, to prove it. I am so jacked to see Ortegas fly this ship around. Now, that leads me to a question. What do you guys think about the Enterprise being in the atmosphere? Does it bother you?
Why would it bother anybody?
As a Kelvin timeline fan, no, absolutely not. Actually, I mean, on that point, this trailer is so well edited. I just want to shake this editor's hand because it is amazing. Because you start with like the fun quippy thing with Pike and the alien. We start on an alien planet. We see the ship in the atmosphere of the alien planet. We look down on it from the atmosphere on the alien planet. Then we get shots of it warping. Then we go to a POV of it leaving the planet's atmosphere into space, into the strange new worlds. It's leaving Terrestria, going into space. Then the stars fade into the snowflakes, into the comet scene. It's just all so good. It's so well put together. It's, I mean,
very well made.
The visual, the editing takes you on a journey, and that's,
I mean,
awesome.
That TV show trailer is like, this is better than most movie trailers that come out these days. And did I bump on a little bit? Like, oh, hey, Enterprise just seems to be hovering in atmosphere. Okay, I don't quite remember, but I understand that some people are going to be nitpicky about that, but at the same time, it's also not without, it's like, what?
Precedent.
It's space. It's science fiction. The Voyager was able to land on planets, if I'm not mistaken. Like, this is not something that is impossible.
Part of the reason that I asked is because we did have a comment on Twitter about how this commenter did not like the new grungier, like metal plating style skin that the Enterprise has, right? And that is a nitpicky thing. And I, of all people, do not want to be seen as somebody who shuts down a nitpicky Trekkie, because that is who I am. I may have come across as overly dismissive in my response to that, which was, if something that small bothers you, I have really bad news for you. I still think the sentiment of that is fair, but I will ask the question. Cameron, I think you said you kind of agreed with the point. Don't you? Do you have a point about that, the scale sort of like, what's the word, like plated metal look for the Enterprise? Do you prefer that sleek look that they had back in the day?
Well, I mean, if we're going for a callback, if we're going for that retro feel, I mean, the kind of light gray aesthetic of the original Enterprise is iconic. And so, I mean, I don't know if I bumped on it. I definitely noticed it in that shot. I was like, oh, this isn't the Enterprise I know. I'm fine with that because I'm sure it's going to get a paint job. I'm sure that Enterprise is going to get fucked up at some point in Strange New Worlds, and it's going to need a paint job. And so I'm fine with it being slightly different than the other show, because every show's got to have its own take on it.
Yeah.
How cool would it be if it was some kind of upgraded hull plating, and they were like, "Oh, you're getting the new like ceramic style." Like, it's obviously not ceramic, but it's like the future.
I mean, and it would be. It
ceramic
would be some kind of
ship.
I mean, they, like the
it looks like
the
ceramic.
science of materials science for the next few hundred years is going to be all about organically grown crystalline type stuff. There's going to be a lot of crystals in materials, and just by the way they grow things. So like eventually it makes sense that there would be smooth. Yeah, there would be smooth holes. There would be, but at the same time, we still weld our aircraft carriers together plate by plate. It's not.
It's true.
It's not something. It's like, it's what we got.
Well, and
when you're building a starship on one planet, you work with the materials that are on that planet.
Well, so this is why I ask, right? Because I know that a big thing that I don't like about Enterprise that a lot of people do seem to like about Enterprise is that it's like more realistic, man, and like that's how the suits would look, man. And I'm like, I don't care about that. I don't want to watch a show about astronauts from now, personally. Like, yeah, it's super cool and interesting, but it's not science fiction, and I'm here for science fiction. So it's interesting to me that, I mean, obviously, the Trekkie community is as deep as it is wide, right? So there will be versions of people that love every version of the thing. I just think it's so funny to hear the exact opposite points brought up as either justification for liking a thing or hating a thing. It's like the same. It just depends on the day, right? But I have to ask you guys, the fencing, is that La'an doing fencing? Is that Ortegas doing fencing? How many of these characters are doing fencing? That's definitely number one with the bow and arrow. Like,
I do just want to address what you brought up, Jesse, because I was just thinking about this yesterday on Enterprise, because I know I'm old now, everybody, because not only did I go on a submarine tour, not only did I really enjoy the submarine tour, I asked the most questions of anyone on the tour. So I am an old man now. I am now one of those people in those progressive "don't turn into your parents" commercials. And anyways, being on the submarine, I was like, wow, submarines are cool. And I realized that's part of why I love Enterprise. And that's because Star Trek, as advanced as it is, as glorious a look at our future it is, it does feel so alien to us. It's hard to relate. And Enterprise is that great transitory moment between where we are now and where we want to be with Star Trek in the future. That's what I love about it. It shows us how we got there, because we didn't go from where I'm at right now, from the submarine parked at Omzi to the beautiful Enterprise, be it, gray gunmetal plate or sheen ceramic.
So Pike says something to the effect of, you want to see strange new worlds and see the new life, you go to where the aliens are, right? Mm-hmm. And we get some serious alien action in these trailers over the course of them. But in this trailer, he's in an alien parliament. There's definitely some kind of Gremlin-style alien practical effect puppet.
Gremlin. I want to see that episode.
Super cute. And there's definitely a Tholian or multiple Tholians. I don't know how those work. And there is
certainly a Prometheus engineer at some point.
So the guy that says your presence is blasphemy, right? Like,
I'm just thinking the big egg they go up to, and
and then there's a giant egg, and then there's a giant golden sail in space. Mm-hmm. Like, what is on? What are those? What are those? Do you guys know what those are?
Well, they're strange new worlds, Jesse.
Yeah,
they're
okay.
Strange when they're new.
It's new life, actually. But
no, I'm glad you brought that up, Jesse, because this is going to be my one criticism of the trailer. Because much like the last, I don't know who's writing the voiceovers for these trailers. Much like the last trailer, where it was like, oh man, you know what? We don't know that aliens exist until we know that aliens exist, was basically what that last voiceover was saying. And here, Pike is going, if you want to see aliens, go where there's aliens. Great. Pike, I thought Spock was supposed to be the logical one. Where's this coming from, Mr. Mensa? I really hope the context of these quotes in the show are better and more enlightening than that.
Well, maybe he's saying those things to somebody on a planet that he's visiting for the first time ever, in which case it would
and
probably
he's talking
make
to him like
sense.
a child.
Well,
Gotcha. That's what I'm saying.
He seems to be an American, so let's just start there. Starfleet captains have a long history of accidentally talking down to races that they think don't understand them. I mean,
100%.
think about Picard trying to talk with Riva, right? Or the first time they met everybody from the children of Tama.
Maybe that's just how he flirts, Whatever
possible.
works, right? All right, let's hear from our next guest.
Hey, Open Pike Night. I love the name of your podcast, and I know you're going to be just as good as Green Shirts, another Trek podcast that I enjoy. I just wanted to give a shout out and say I'm very pumped about Strange New Worlds. I grew up on the original series. My dad brought me up on the movies and reruns of the show. I remember going to the library as a kid and coming home with like a backpack full of those VHS tapes of the original series. I haven't really I started to rewatch the original series now. I haven't in a very long time, and it still holds up. Like, the characters are still awesome, especially the menagerie was very good, I think, leading into Strange New Worlds. Will say the misogyny, ooh, it's very cringy. But if you can get past that, it's wonderful. And I'm glad that we're rebooting it kind of in Strange New Worlds. I look forward to having new Trek that is episodic in nature, not one big long story arc over 10 episodes, and has a sense of humor. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with the characters, especially Uhura. I love that she's smart and sassy and funny. Looking forward to Spock and Pike and Nurse Chaplin, the whole crew. And looking forward to your podcast. So until then, live long and prosper.
That was from our friend Michelle at OnTheRock81 on Twitter. And she added that Cinco de Mayo is going to be extra lit this year.
Michelle, great to hear from you. One of our biggest fans, and I only know you through your awesome tweets and your Crusher standing. So great to hear your voice. I love the story of you walking home with a backpack full of VHS. That cannot have been light.
No, those things are ridiculously heavy.
I also want to comment on your comment on the humor. Yes, that especially, I mean, as you said, John, they're all very quippy. And that's one of the things about the character trailers. After like 9 character trailers, is that how many we got?
Yeah.
I did start to get a little worried because they were just so hyper fast. Everyone's shooting guns, everyone's fighting, everyone's got quips. And I was starting to feel like, oh, is this kind of, because that's kind of how parts of Disco season 2 were. And I was like, yeah, is this going to be Strange New Worlds? And then we got the trailer and I was like, oh no, those were just TV spots. They were 30-second TV spots. That's how they're cut. That's fine. This trailer is so good. And yeah, we get some great humor moments from everyone. I can't wait to see goofy Dad Pike.
And to the point of the palpable excitement around this show that we have mentioned and that all of our wonderful guests have mentioned. And man, you guys, once you get to 1,701 followers, the fans just pour in and just send voicemails. It's so cool. I'm so happy for you guys at Green Shirt. I am one of those people, in case you can't tell. Now, to the point of the palpable excitement for this show, I have a group chat with some other guys that I make a podcast with and some guys that I don't make a podcast with, but that make podcasts in my proximity. And one of them is kind of a Star Trek detractor. Most of them are just cool people and they have, either like Star Trek or they're lukewarm on it. But there's one guy in there who's kind of a Star Trek detractor. And I put the trailer, just the new full-length trailer, in the group chat as soon as it came out. And then I waited a couple hours, and then I went and I checked the group chat again. And that guy said, hey, does all of the new Star Trek look like this? And I didn't even have to do it. Another of my friends went, yeah, actually, it's all really gorgeous like this. And I said, well, to be fair, there are also 2 animated shows. One of them is 2D and one of them is 3D. And the response I received was, huh, okay, very interesting. So this, I think, to your point, Cameron, these trailers were edited to get people that maybe aren't already subscribed to Paramount Plus to watch all the Star Trek, right? These are designed to get people to go, oh, that's what Star Trek is now? Sign me the F up. Those people are good looking. Their uniforms are clean as hell. That ship is amazing. What is going on? There is so much fighting and shooting. That's not what I remember Star Trek being. I think I should maybe go purchase this service and watch this television program.
That's absolutely fair. But yeah, just this new one just sets a mood and tone that I was looking for that this most recent trailer just gave me in spades. 100%.
Fully agreed.
Oh, yeah.
And more to Michelle's point, we've kind of touched on this, though I don't know if we've said it outright. One of the exciting things about Strange New Worlds is that it does kind of give us that original series, OG 60s feel without some of the problematic elements and fixing that. So, yeah, I'm pumped.
Absolutely. Thank you, Michelle. All right. And our next guest.
Okay, these are my thoughts on the trailer that dropped. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Everything looks so pretty and it just looks amazing. The ships are pretty, the effects look gorgeous. That ending shot of the Enterprise dodging fire, it looks so freaking cool. Okay, but other than that, I'm so excited. So freaking excited. We're finally getting it. It's finally almost here. I'm so freaking excited. Okay, anyways, Yeah, there's nothing. I'm literally just going to be absolutely overstimulated the entire month of April. I'm not even joking. It's just going to be like 30 days, an entire 30 days of just having this in my head. I'm so excited. I hope y'all are too. I'm running out of time. Bye, everybody.
All right, that was from Sirius at Creator Sirius on Twitter. Sirius like Sirius Black or the Dog Star. So yeah, once again,
Wow.
That is what palpable excitement
that
sounds
is
like.
absolutely palpable.
Palpable.
Sirius is my people. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I am so glad that you have connected with our show. I am on that wavelength. This is going to be the best month ever. Go ahead, guys. I'm sorry.
I'm kind of curious. Like, they just dropped so much Strange New World stuff in such a short amount of time, and now we have a month. Are they going to? Do you think Paramount is going to keep this pace up as far as more trailers, as far as more announcements, as far as clips? What like, or are they just going to let that lull for a month while Picard keeps rolling out and building toward May 5th? What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, this could have all been leading up to Mission Chicago and First Contact Day for sure. I mean, maybe we'll get another trailer. I don't know what else they could drop. What do you? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the word is. I'm not afraid of the sudden abyss, right? I'm just like, man, we went so long without anything, right? It was like, I mean, it was years. It was literal years. And for them to just info dump us like that, like, boom, here you go. And it really does. I mean, people were literally saying on Twitter, like 2 or 3 days before it happened, Paramount is really going to make us promote this show our damn selves, aren't they? Like, we are going to have to go person by person, IRL, and be like, watch Star Trek, please. I need you to watch Star Trek. We do not want a Cowboy Bebop situation.
Yeah, and it's fine because some of us are willing to do that and have been doing that anyway. But it does make it easier to be able to just, for example, put a link in a chat and have somebody go, I didn't know this is what Star Trek looked like anymore. And I feel like the spoiling of the fans has already begun, though, because there are people on Twitter. I mean, we have to mention it. Okay, we're recording this on First Contact Day. They just announced that everybody from TNG is going to be in season 3 of Picard, and we're like 5 episodes into season 2 of Picard, which is
poor Wesley Crusher.
It's mind-blowing to me that they would do that. I fully understand, again, why they are doing it, but it's like, whoa. Now, it's also impressive to me that they managed to keep it a secret as long as they did. But, you know, the first thing that I thought was like, okay, this is as good as it gets. And then immediately we started seeing people go, well, where's my Voyager news? Why isn't DS9 getting remastered? Why isn't and it's like, whoa, are you serious? Like, I get it. It's a fully valid way to feel, right? It's totally fair because some Treks are getting more love than other Treks in retrospect and this, that, and the other thing. That's going to happen. And it's totally valid to be upset about that. But, like, can we, as a community, just be happy for, like, a month, please? Like, Sirius and I are going to be. Let's just be happy for 30 days, okay?
Absolutely.
We'll go back
Hashtag
to
where's
being
O'Brien?
upset after that. Yeah, like, I cannot believe you. And seriously, think about it this way, you guys. There's no reason they couldn't give us O'Brien's, like, ancestor in Strange New Worlds, right? And there's no reason that couldn't be, like, the best-looking crewman that shows up for, like, half an episode to run the transporters and then disappears. Like,
I don't see why it couldn't just be Colomini playing his own great-grandfather also. I mean,
No,
if we're going to go with the Spock on 3 dates episode, let's have an O'Brien playing his own great-grandfather episode. Come on.
Strange New Worlds could be anything right now, right? Once we start watching it, it will become what has been created. But right now, it could be anything, and that's what's going to make April so much fun for me, and it's what I'm going to hold on to until the series starts. Because once the series starts, it's going to be very difficult to pay attention to anything else for me. So thank you for your call, Sirius. That was soul affirming for me.
That was just basically Jesse's inner monologue.
Absolutely, yes. We have a couple more guests on stage.
Happy First Contact Day, Trekkers, and welcome to my 90 seconds of Open Pike Night. The new trailer and the character trailers have all dropped, and the show looks visually and intellectually stimulating, as well as sexually stimulating. And I mean that in the sense that it doesn't appear that this show is going to take our usual American version of TV where sex seems to cause drama with the characters. It seems like everyone is just horny and happy with everyone that they meet. And that's what the future should be. If anything, we should have that now, but we don't. And I think that is that is the real new world that Strange New Worlds is going to take us to. A world where no one is slut-shamed, no one is kink-shamed, no one is shamed for anything that they desire. And I think that's a beautiful, beautiful world. So if this show is going to bring us more of that, and especially more of Spock getting laid, there should have been more of Spock getting laid in the original series than Kirk and Riker. So more Spock getting laid, more Captain Pike getting laid, more everybody. Everybody should be getting laid, and everyone should be happy, and no one should feel bad about it. That's just one simple man's belief. Good night, good luck, live long, and prosper.
All right, that was our good friend Steven at CineSaraBiz on Twitter, returning to the stage. Yeah, that was pretty much what Gene Roddenberry wanted from like season 2 of Star Trek. Also, that's from all of Star Trek. Like, that's not a new thing. That's not everybody projecting like, oh no, we want more sex. Like, yeah, no, the original creator wanted more sex.
I want to see the Enterprise get laid. Maybe that with that big sail in space. I don't care.
Yeah,
maybe that's what it's barrel rolling into. That's just
on there,
it's the corkscrew maneuver into Starship Impregnation.
The USS Hentai Prize. We'll put that meme somewhere on the timeline. If you haven't seen it, it's
Tentacle
great.
Prize. Yeah.
Wow.
Tentacle forward.
Now to the point of the sexy in the Star Trek. See, the problem, right? The sexual elephant in the room, I think, was always Gene Roddenberry, and that was the issue. It's like this dude, he ended up like stumbling into some progressive attitudes, I think. Like I think he saw himself as progressive, right? And it's arguable that for the time there are some arenas in which he was.
Yeah.
But
people are multifaceted. They can be problematic and progressive at the same time.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
nobody who's progressive or made change hasn't been problematic. So, yeah.
Right. But to Steve's point, I think we are going to have a much more deft hand guiding the Star Trek Sea this time than we did when Roddenberry was maybe directly involved. I think that there is a genuine sense of excitement surrounding the sexual portrayal of these characters this time around, because it seems that we're going to get a more realistic and more truly progressive look at it. Now, we may look back on this series in 15 or 30 years and go, oh, wow, we had no idea what we were talking about, right? But look, we were trying. You can see that they were trying. And I think that we will be able to tell. That is an excellent point, Steve.
We, the podcasters, and they, the filmmakers, do not have access to the time crystals, which shall not be spoken.
I like to make bold declarations on this podcast. And Bega, he's definitely going to be getting laid the most.
Yeah, they're going to call it Slick Bay by the time we're done with it.
All right, we have one more guest on stage.
Hello there, this is Dr. Oho from the MCU C2C podcast, and this is my reaction to the Strange New Worlds trailer. Wow, it looks amazing. It's like every kind of Star Trek. It's got the original series sensibilities that's kind of reinvented in Discovery Season 2. We've got Captain Pike, we've got Spock, we've got Uhura, we've got Nurse Chapel, and a whole bunch of new characters doing their thing. I mean, even that opening shot in the trailer, that looks amazing when Captain Pike just materializes in this sort of council chamber thing. It's sort of, with all the babble in the background, reminded me a little bit of the Star Trek movie, the motion picture. And then we cut to the Enterprise in an atmosphere, which some people may hate that, but I think it just looks absolutely gorgeous. So, yes. And on the Enterprise itself, it looks gorgeous. Of course it does. It is the most beautiful spaceship in all of science fiction. And that, my friends, you will find is actually a fact. We've got lots of little nods to all the different films, all the series. It just looks like it's everything thrown in. No idea what the story's about, but I cannot wait to see it. When that might be, I don't know, to be honest, because we're probably not going to be able to get it in the UK because it's all on this Paramount Plus thing. But, you know, maybe when it comes out on shiny 4K disc, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be first in the queue. And I'm just going to watch this trailer again because everything in it just looks lush, gorgeous, and it makes me feel very happy. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.
All right, that was our friend Paul from the MCU C2C podcast at MCU C2C. And I just have to say, he certainly echoed a lot of the stuff that we've said on this episode so far, but he said it in a British accent, which makes it even more true. So,
I mean, that was basically a Picard monologue right there. Yeah. And also a little bit of good news here. He did message me just a little bit before we started recording saying, oh, he might have to revise his trailer take because there is now news that Paramount Plus will be coming to British viewers in the summer of 2022 on Sky TV.
Hell yeah.
So he sent me a screen cap. I hope that's legit. I hope I'm not raising expectations just to be broken later, but that is what I know so far.
I am really glad that Paul identified himself because I was convinced that that was David Ayala from Star Trek Discovery calling in to just like give us some Cleveland Booker words of advice. So thank you for, as the gentlemen have mentioned, legitimizing us with an intelligent accent. We needed that because, I mean, let's be honest, we all sound like this. So thank you. You guys, running theme. There's nobody that's not excited, right? Okay, so maybe there's some people that are like tentatively excited, but there's nobody whose excitement level who has heard of this show is zero for it that I have run into. Now, to be fair, running a Star Trek podcast Twitter account, you may not run into those people much. But I've not even run into somebody in real life who has seen the trailer that's like, everybody that I know that has seen it has been, okay, that was impressive. I am very impressed. I'd like to see where this goes.
It is a dream of mine with this podcast that we get somebody who sends us clips and it's the first time they've ever watched any Star Trek. That might not happen. That probably won't happen, but hey, it'll be awesome if it does.
As the host of Green Shirt, a Newbie's Trek Through the Next Generation, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up that Captain Pike gets totally hung up on. And he reacts a little bit better than old Picard usually does. He's a little more good-natured about it.
Absolutely. And especially considering it seems like he gets shot at immediately afterward.
Right.
Well, and that could all be part of the arc of, does Pike, is he just reckless because he thinks he can't die till a certain day? Is he going to be over careful? Like, is it going to be, it's gonna, I mean, that's going to be the arc, right? We saw that will be his arc. So I'm very interested to see where his laissez-faire, I am a space cowboy in a golden t-shirt attitude gets him, because that's the kind of attitude that I am here to watch on Star Trek personally. But I don't know. I can't say enough about how excited we are to see the show finally arrive and to have some trailers to talk about and to have so many people sending us submissions and spending some time with us. That is so cool, you guys. I'm blown away by that, and I'm very excited to be part of a community of nerds who love the thing and are going to nitpick it to death the same way that we are. This is going to be a strange ride, gentlemen, but I am very, very excited to go on it.
Yes, we had people genuinely bear their raw emotions to us in those clips, clearly, and it's very meaningful to hear that, and exciting and fun.
Yeah. Thank you to all our guests on stage tonight. We have 1 month now until Strange New Worlds begins to air. You've all been a great crowd. Don't forget to tip your server and clean up after yourselves. The ensigns are good at polishing barrels. They don't like to pick up trash too well. If you'd like to join us on stage for the next or any Open Pike night, send us an audio clip, 90 seconds or less, to openpike@gmail.com, or just go ahead and write us a message and we'll read it out on air.
If you have enjoyed this episode, please consider sending us a voice clip or tell your Trekkie friends to listen. That really is the best way to help grow the show and expand the stage. If you're still feeling generous after that, sure, go ahead, leave us a rating and review wherever you get your podcasts, but your ears, like Spock's, are enough for us. If the folks out there would like to hear more from you, Cameron, where can they do that?
They can do that at our Twitter account, which has 1701 followers, at GreenShirt87, which is the Twitter account for Greenshirt, a newbie's trek to the next generation, where I am watching the next generation for the very first time with my slightly more knowledgeable co-hosts and, of course, the much more knowledgeable John T. Bolts producing.
And if you need a little bit more of me in your ears, I don't know why, but go ahead and look up Sudden But Inevitable wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow that show on Twitter at Sudden But. We cover single-season sci-fi shows that were canceled before their time. We've done Firefly, we did Cowboy Bebop, we did the new Cowboy Bebop. We've also talked about some movies like Highlander and Space Sweeper and Slither, that kind of thing. So go check out Sudden But Inevitable. And the other thing you should definitely already probably be doing is following this show on Twitter at OpenPike. I know that you are. Please continue to send me your memes and jokes about Strange New Worlds. I live off of them, in case you can't tell.
We have merch and NFTs available at the door on the way out. You can go anywhere you want, but you can't stay here.